Longevity Lifestyle Designers. This is Zach here with Secrets of Longevity.com, and today this video is going to be about colostrum and its myriad of benefits, and I've experienced a lot of amazing results with it, and I'm going to share some of those results, and then I'll be getting into the properties of it, and then at the end of the video I'm also going to discuss the difference between sort of your colostrum you get on a farm from a single cow compared to Sir Thrival's colostrum, and just look at the differences between them. So first off, my personal experience with colostrum over the last little while has been, right off the bat, I had this sty in my eye for approximately maybe 2, 3, even maybe 4 months. I wasn't really keeping track. I just remember it appearing one day and it just being around for a while for the last while. And then as soon as I started taking it, colostrum that is, within 2 days I actually had it got kind of swollen and red and sore, and up to this point it wasn't sore or irritated at all. It was just kind of like a bump, not even visible. I only noticed it, I think, when I was rubbing sleep out of my eyes in the morning one day, and I noticed there was like a lump, and if I pulled my eyelid back I saw this lump that looked almost like a pimple on the inside of my eyelid. And then, but yeah, it wasn't an issue, it was just there and kind of wondering what it was about. And then within a day or two of taking the colostrum, this got kind of irritated, which is a sign that your body's actually fighting something there. So there must have been some sort of infection or toxicity that was moving out of my body that happened to be in that place. And it literally like just oozed out like a pimple would, but it didn't like squirt out, but it came out, and after that it was fine. There's no lump left and my eye feels perfectly normal. So that's really attributed to the immune boosting effects of colostrum powder. From my point of view, it can't say 100% that that's what caused that. It could be a complete coincidence, but I really feel that was connected in some way. The other thing I had happen right off the bat was I had a little bit of pain around a filling I had, and I discussed this in a previous video series where I was talking about remineralizing the teeth, and I talked about colostrum as being a great addition to anyone's program if they're looking to improve their overall oral health. And I was having this dull ache sort of deep down, and colostrum sort of made me aware of that ache, but then it sort of subsided with multiple uses and packing it in that area where there was sort of a sore tooth. So I'd had fillings done a long time ago in there. They're composite fillings, not mercury fillings, of course. And just from the fact that the tooth has been weakened due to that unfortunate drilling on my teeth, it seems colostrum sort of dealt with whatever maybe low-grade infection that was going on there. So yeah, there seems to be antibacterial, antifungal properties, or I guess in this case it's boosting your body's natural defenses to be able to deal with those things, because colostrum has 97 immune boosting factors and 87 growth factors. So those are specifically different aspects of the immune system that is triggering and tonifying, you could say. It has quite an immunomodulating effect, so that means it can bring the immune system up when it's appropriate or tone it down if it's being too overactive in certain areas. So we often talk about the immune system just as one thing, but really it's a whole component of things, because it's got all the white blood cells in there, myriad of different functions, so it can work on different parts of those, increasing interferon and interleukin production by the white blood cells so that they work more efficiently throughout the body. Then it's also going to be working on the bacterial side of things, because really our first defense against all incoming foreign invaders in the form of bacteria, fungus, and other things, pathogens of various sorts, it's going to be our bacteria, both in our gut, in our skin, in our throat, mouth, basically everywhere in our body that we have a surface, there's going to be bacteria. Our body is mostly bacteria. There's many times more bacteria in our body than actual cells. Bacteria is numbered in the trillions, whereas the number of cells in our body is in the billions. That's just something to take note of, and you don't want to be killing off your bacteria with something like antibiotics or these other harsh antibacterial drugs, or even herbs in some cases. So colostrum has prebiotic properties to it, so it can help feed and grow these beneficial bacteria and gut flora in us, which boosts our immune system. And then it's also going to have properties that work, like I said, on the white blood cells, but also in improving our gland function. So colostrum is really noted for actually regenerating and repairing the thymus gland, which is in our chest, right by our heart. And when we're born, the thymus gland is quite close in size to our heart. It's probably a little bit smaller. But it obviously grows with our body as we grow, but it doesn't grow nearly at the same rate, you could say. And basically, at a certain point, it starts shrinking after puberty. And a lot of people, it's found through autopsies that even by the time they're in their 60s, 70s, 80s, it's shrunk so much that it's basically useless. It's not barely doing anything, if anything at all. And very old people just become sort of like a thin strand of fibrotic tissue that doesn't have any influence on the immune system whatsoever, whereas normally it's quite a major activator on immune health. So colostrum has the effect of actually regenerating this gland, which is very unique. I haven't come across too many other superfoods, herbs, or regular foods that do this. So it can be beneficial just for that sense, for repairing and regrowing the thymus gland. And that other number I was speaking about was 87 growth factors. Now this other category, in addition to the immune modulating and boosting tonifying factors, is the ability for colostrum to have a wide spectrum of different properties that are anabolic in nature. So these are tissue building, weight increasing in a good way in terms of increasing lean muscle mass, and then also being able to regenerate damaged tissue. Now we already touched on that with the effect of regenerating the thymus gland. Colostrum has an overall regenerative effect on the entire body, whether it's the skeletal system, the ligaments and joints. That's a big one. If you check out the link below that says cow colostrum, you can check out this product if you're interested in picking up yourself up a canister of it. And then you can also listen to interviews there with Dr. Anthony Kleinsmith, who talks about many other factors and much more of the science, more in-depth part of the science aspects of colostrum production, and a lot of the facts of how sustainably it's actually harvested. And in that interview, Dr. K talks about regenerating part of his knee, part of the, I think it was the cartilage, or perhaps it was the ligament, that in terms of mainstream medical model is impossible to heal. These are parts of the body that have very little growth ability to them in terms of being able to reconnect and regrow. Whereas if you break a bone, it can regrow together, but a ligament is probably one of the most delicate tissues of the body in terms of it not being able to be self-repaired very easily. It can with surgery, or if there's a tear in it, it can regrow. But if it's completely severed, it's almost thought to be impossible to grow back together, and at least not in a very short period of time. Now, IGF-1, which you could say is the head of the family of the whole growth factor family within colostrum, stands for insulin-like growth factor 1. Now this is a hormone-like chemical that goes through our body and does a number of things. It can increase tissue growth and increase muscle mass, like I talked about. It's often thought of in the bodybuilding community as being almost steroid-like. However, they're dealing with an isolated compound, which is, in my opinion, very unsafe, because you're dealing with something that has never been introduced to the body before in terms of our biological history. So when we take in these isolated synthetics, it can be quite foreign to our body, and that's a lot of the issues that come up as people are attacking things like colostrum for it containing things like IGF-1, which have been in some cases linked to cancer rates being increased, or increasing the growth of cancers. But that's with an isolated compound, which is actually not even identical to a natural compound, such as found in colostrum. And we'll touch on that subject more closer to the end of the video. But, like I said, IGF-1 increases positive, healthy, rejuvenating growth in the body. It also helps prevent, shut down actually cell death. So it can actually prolong the lifespan of our individual cells that are coming into contact with this hormone. And it's very critical for anyone that is very much into athletics, into sort of an anti-aging, regenerating type of scenario, whether they're older and want to sort of reverse the clock a little bit, or they're looking to heal from a disease or a state of injury to their body, whatever caused it. And of course there's a whole range of growth factors which I'm not going to get into in this short video clip, but they do things like regenerate nerve tissue in the body, and a lot of these things the body makes, but this can help bring those levels of our body's own natural production of it, as well as add these in to help increase the overall amount of it. And of course it's not going to be throwing it way out of balance. This is something that you can take plenty of, and it's not going to cause your IGF-1 levels to go out of the roof and, you know, cause you to have problems like gigantism. Like If you know Andre the Giant, he had an issue with his body. His brain was actually producing too much human growth hormone, and that's why he became, almost 400 pounds and like 7, 8 feet. I don't know what his height was, but that's an example of someone with too much human growth hormone. Now, IGF-1 can be related to human growth hormone in the body and help increase its production of it, which is another great anti-aging hormone and rejuvenating and athletic ability enhancing hormone that is naturally found in the body, and it's increased and boosted through this product. But a problem of the deficiency of IGF-1 or human growth hormone is actually stunted growth. In cases of dwarfism, it's actually as a result of very little IGF-1 production, and it's actually supplemented through injection or whatever other form for people that wish to help grow their body if they're still in that peak growing stage in their life. Colostrum also has several antioxidant-like enhancing properties in the body. Much like whey powder, that's quite similar in these sense. There's antioxidants such as lactoperoxidase, lactoferrin, and other properties that actually enhance our liver's production of glutathione, which is another well-known anti-aging compound that our body produces, and actually diminishes with age, traditionally. So these factors do a number of things. Glutathione is a basic antioxidant that is well regarded throughout the body as being very key. Lactoferrin is perhaps one of the key things that can equalize the gap between the lifespans of men and women, because men, one theory of why men have shorter lifespans, there's actually probably a number of theories that, and they're all valid to some degree, but this is just one factor, is that men don't shed their blood once a month, so they're not losing excess iron. And iron is actually a pro-oxidant, and if it's circulating through our body too much, it can actually have almost like a rusting effect and oxidize our cells more rapidly. So over the long haul, it results in a lower lifespan. In fact, in the West right now, it's 7 years less than women. So lactoferrin actually helps bind excess iron in the blood and carry it out of the system, so you're not suffering from iron toxicity as you get on in your years. Actually, it's great to use that all throughout your life, so you're always keeping that iron level in check. It's easy to bring your iron levels up, but from what I know, there's nothing in the body that actually brings it back down. So if you're consuming lots of iron, it's in your diet, and you need to bring those levels back down, whey powder or even colostrum is a great addition to that. And lactoperoxidase is something that helps regrow the gum tissue. If you're putting it in your mouth, this is something that I recommend, at least colostrum as a whole food, and it has that property in it of being able to regenerate receding gum lines. So that's great for remineralizing the teeth, bringing down the gums. It actually has the same effect throughout the digestive tract of healing it and regrowing tissue. So on top of all these amazing properties within colostrum, I've only just scratched the surface. If you want to know more about it, check out the link below. I've written an article on colostrum. It's one of my favorite articles on my site. I think put a lot of research into this. And you can also grab a tub of it. This is a 2.2 pound or 1 kilogram tub. This is a good investment. You can also get 6.5 ounce tubs, which are a little smaller, and you can, if you get 3 of the small ones, you get a discount as well. You can find again at that link below. You can grab yourself some. You can also get it in capsule form if you're not interested in consuming the powder. It's great in smoothies, it's great in elixirs, it's great. Just mix it in water straight, put this powder straight in your mouth, and you can apply it to your gums and teeth. Or you can mix the powder in your palm with a bit of water and apply it as a face mask, and it's got rejuvenating effects, and it's quite apparent. I'd say it's on the same level as aloe vera, if not more potent at regenerating the skin, because it's just so chock full of these amazing properties.